Greetings, film fans and comics fans. Lieutenant Fish is back to bring the pain with some comic reviews this time. The fun thing about this channel is that it's really, now that I've gotten it established, it's really given me some flexibility to get a little more creative, branching out with some of discussing other media types I enjoy as well as my movie focus. But in recognition of one of my favorite current YouTube channels, Diversity in Comics, a really great guy with very great depth of knowledge as far as the medium and the folks involved in it, and very insightful as far as the current state of things, I thought I would put together a little pick list review of current comics from my end of things. I've been ragging on him in the comments to really take a break from some of the SJW Marvel stuff and look at some of the broader independent stuff that's out there as well. But I know a lot of folks, depending on where you live and where you shop, may not have access to some of these, but there's more out there than just the stuff that gets ragged on. There's some really great independent pieces that it's worth taking a look for sometimes, if you're up for that kind of thing. So this is a bit of a clapback on Diversity in Comics, maybe to get him to stop clowning so much on his SJW things, as he likes to turn the phrase. But let's see what I was able to pick up at Telegraph Art and Comics at Charlottesville, Virginia, in the downtown mall this week. 3 of these books were from my subscription list there. Great store. They also give a discount for people subscribing through them. And one of the books here that we'll talk about today I actually got in the mail directly from the publisher. So, first off, Shaolin Cowboy, number 4 of 4. This is a miniseries, and last issue of miniseries 2 by Geof Darrow, with some colors by Dave Stewart. Geof Darrow is an absolutely unique artist as far as his style, his technique, his graphic portrayal of detail. Really is a interesting piece, but I don't really go into too much detail on this one, since it is the last issue in a miniseries, and better to cover something else. Geof Darrow, though, this is a really beautiful set of books he does, but I believe his best work is when he's with a good writer like Frank Miller. It's a little more focused, more story-driven, more character-driven. There's not a lot of character arcs in Shaolin Cowboy books, but they are definitely worth checking out for the amazing art. And if you think this cover is misogynist or offensive, don't worry, I'm an equal opportunity offender, and I will have something else for you. Next up, we have the Amore Wars. This is Good Apollo on Burning Star 4. So this is the current miniseries adaptation of the 3rd album by Coheed Cambria, Good Apollo on Burning Star 4. And this is Claudio Sanchez's ongoing project to sort of demystify the lyrics of the concept albums and really bring the whole thing to into a more focused story mode. And the art here is absolutely beautiful by Rags Morales. Claudio Sanchez did not do all the writing on this one. He gave the story to someone else, and Chondra Echert, one of his other collaborators, has been helping him with the writing on these miniseries lately. But some beautiful artwork. One of the main concerns I have with these stories, though, I do have a bunch of them already in individual issues and trade paperbacks, hardcovers. There's an unfortunate habit to use proper names, or excuse me, to use basic nouns for proper names. So sometimes it's a little hard to follow if someone's talking to someone or about something else, depending on the context. But here's the alternate cover version. You get both of these if you subscribe to get them shipped to you directly from the Coheed Cambria. It's a great little service they have. And next, Galacticon by Brendon Metalocalypse Small. So, Brendon Small, also creator of Home Movies, is an accomplished musician, and Galacticon is actually based on his first solo project album after Metalocalypse called Galacticon. There's another title to it. excellent. I picked it up on iTunes. Very good music if you like heavy metal. And very funny too, just like if you've seen Metalocalypse or home movies. Great amount of humor. And this is being published through Eric Powell's Albatross Exploding Mini Books, self-published company. So, very good project. This actually coincides, the release of this first comic, based on the first album, coincides with the release of the second album, which is a concept album as well. So it's the second album in the story. So this is basically like Coheed Cambria, demystifying or putting a graphic representation on the music. And the art here is by Steve Mannon. So it's a pretty interesting sci-fi story about a intergalactic superhero called Triton, who is going through a horrible, extremely public divorce. So it's much more of a comedy book. There's plenty of offensive content and adult-friendly language and tits. So it's not SJW Marvel, I can tell you that much. And you also have Tits the Robot, T1TS. And if you have some guitar equipment, like a whammy bar, a guitar with a whammy bar, a fair amount of distortion, a whammy pedal set at +1 octave, a wah pedal, you will be able to make the language or play back Tits's comments. They didn't go for beeps and boops or normal talking, but they actually gave him a musical language. That is how creative Brendon Small is. You might say creative or obsessed or something else, but it's very different, and it's definitely an excellent piece of work. Next up, though, what we're going to look at today, though, is Hillbilly. Now, this is Hillbilly number 7. This is Eric Powell's current ongoing series, published again by Albatross Exploding Funny Books. Goon, normally published through Dark Horse right now, is on hiatus, but Eric's been working on a few other self-projects, or solo projects, at the moment. We're not going to actually talk about number 7 today, because it has a really nifty graphics interface inside, or that's not a good way to say it, really nifty art style inside that I don't want to give away as spoilers, but look for this one at your local store. We can look at number 6, though. Now, this is a beautiful piece of work as well. Look at the art style here. Eric Powell is one of those artists I can definitely speak to a lot. He's one of a few that I can actually talk about compared to, say, Diversity in Comics, who is much better at the background for many artists and writers. So, this is by Eric Powell, but he has an editor. Now, take a look at this. This is the first image you get. This isn't drawn from anything. This isn't any 3D model. Eric Powell gets all the accolades. He's a 5-time Eisner Award winner, including Best Painting, Best Illustrations. I mean, this guy can build these amazing creatures just from his imagination. And Hillbilly is based on a lot of the Appalachian myths and tall tales and sort of ghost stories to talk about around the campfire. You got Talybone showing up in another issue. For a lot of the Hillbilly is a haunted sort of man and a tragic hero, a lot like the Goon, who wanders through these different ridges and valleys and hills. His main mission he's been given with this massive cleaver you can see is to kill witches and other sources of evil. But the writing is amazing. The writing, look at this, just to compare this to SJW Marvel, as Diversity in Comics likes to. The man in the cell next to Hillbilly is making a confession. Once in a moment of weakness, I betrayed her and laid with another. I never told her, but her changed manner toward me told me she knew. I broke her heart, and I believe it sent her to an early grave. I always thought myself a good man until that stumble. I have since been tormented by the thought that I am not good, that I am wicked. vile man of no account. If, in your heart, you truly repent of the hurt you did your lady, die knowing you are not evil. Man is weak, and where he is not weak, he is stupid. Many a sin the best of us may commit in our short lives, but an evil man knows not remorse. He has not kindness or sympathy. He only thinks of himself and admits not shame or fault. If your woman saw your guilt, she must also have seen your shame. I am sure she awaits you on the other side with forgiveness. You are a kind soul, and your words do me comfort. So long I have carried that burden which was a stone in my heart. So, the writing here is excellent. The art is excellent. Eric Powell is someone I love to look up any book I see that he's involved with. Marvel, he's done some DC products that I haven't had a chance to pick up yet, but everything he does is really top-notch, especially the ones that he is actually doing writing for as well. So I cannot recommend Hillbilly or The Goon or any of his other projects highly enough. This guy is really, Eric Powell is a master at work, and if your only experience to comics is through Marvel or DC and the current stuff they're putting out, you really owe it to yourself to dig a little deeper, try something else. Anyway, my camera battery is about dead, so Lieutenant Fish, out.